Hello, in this video we'll be covering the distinct transformation as found in the transformation sections in the toolbox under the distinct node. So this transformation basically is a record transformation that filters out similar records and optionally identifies those similar records for use in the data flow. So for example, here on the right you see I have an Excel sheet with a small data set, but with about 5 records, but with some of them are duplicated, such as I have 2 mics and 2 J's. So if I wanted a unique data set, I could use a distinct transformation to basically filter out the duplicates. So to do that, here I have an example here where I have my Excel workbook source here. So if I preview the data, you'll see that exact same data set here at the bottom. So if I want the unique data set with all of the duplicates filtered out, I simply drag and drop from the toolbox and map to it to create the layout. Every transformation requires a layout. Optionally, I can specify the layout directly here. One thing to notice is with the distinct transformation is that you can use it as a flat structure, as I have it here, or I can also make use of the tree builder in order to build a more complex structure, such as adding reference nodes and adding collection information. So the structure need not be flat, so you can use distinct on hierarchical data sources as well. So in this case though, I'm going to leave it as flat, proceed to the next screen, and the next screen will give me a couple of options. The first set of options are incoming data is sorted, add port, and case sensitive. Incoming data is sorted by key fields. This is telling me whether or not the data is sorted. For this transformation to work, the data must be sorted. So in this case, I'm going to leave the default as unchecked, so that way it will do an in-place sort, which has a performance penalty, but is required. So if you would only check this if you had previous sort, a sort previously defined in a previous transformation. The next thing is pretty self-explanatory if it's case sensitive. So meaning that if I have, in this case, capital M-I-K-E, it will not match. So the next option is add port for duplicate records. This is what you'll check if you actually want to keep track of the second record. So in this case, in this example, I will read this first record and process it through the data flow. The second record I will skip if I'm using mic as my key identifier here. But if I wanted to access to this record, let's say I wanted to dump it in another file and send back to somebody and say, hey, these are duplicate, then I would make sure and check the add port for duplicate records. The next set of options are the key fields that telling Centerprise how we will match and determine whether a record is a duplicate. So for example, I'm going to use name here to determine what is a duplicate record. So here I'll click on a drop down and add the name key field. And at this point I can click OK. And then if I preview the data in this case, oops, I didn't define the name here. There we go. Click OK. And now if I preview the data in this case, you can see that my data set has been filtered out to not include the duplicate rows. So I started out with 5. I now have only 3 records with a unique name. One problem though is that if you look at the record a little closer, you can see that this mic is actually different than this mic. Mic A is not the same as mic B. So I'm going to have to do a composite key actually to determine what constitutes a unique record. So I'm going to go back to my properties, next, and this time use a subsequent key field. So here you can see that this is a grid. I can keep adding as many fields as I like. In this case I'm going to add the type as the second key field. So I'm going to click OK, and now when I preview the data, you'll see that I get the correct 4, including the second mic with the type B. So if I wanted to keep track of the second, let's say in this case the second J, the record that I did filter out, as I mentioned before, the add duplicate port for records, I can simply check that, and at this point the transformation changes, and now I have a hierarchical data structure. so including an output for distinct and an output for duplicate. So I have to basically remap in this case, and then now I have an output mapping for distinct and an output mapping for the duplicate ones. So I can have two different data sets going in two different directions, and this becomes then like a router, except the condition is implicit that the duplicate ones are the data set you're going to filter out this way. So that's pretty much how you use a distinct. Thank you for watching this video.